a 3-point lighting setup, you have the key light, the fill light, and the backlight. The key light is your main light source. This is what's going to provide most of the light on your subject. This is usually placed on one side of the camera. The fill light is placed opposite of the key light, and it is literally used to fill in the shadows. The fill light will usually be less bright than the key light. To achieve this, you're going to want to move the light further away, or if you have a dimmable light, make sure you lower it. Usually this is placed behind the subject, and it is meant to separate your subject from the background. All in all, this is used to light a scene and to provide some depth and contrast within your framing. But ultimately, it's up to you what type of style you're looking for. For example, in narratives in a movie, lighting is used to tell a story. In Breaking Bad, lighting is used a lot. As Walter White is starting to transition more into Heisenberg, we could see that the light on his face is oftentimes half lit, half dark. This is shown as an internal struggle between the character. How you decide to light your subject's face tells a lot to the audience. If they are fully in darkness, something moody is going on within them. If they are completely lit, it could almost look angelic. Color tells a lot in the story as well. Orange and blue are complementary colors. This is why oftentimes when you're looking at movie posters, you'll see the predominance of orange and blue. Another set of complementary colors are green and red. For example, in this scene in La La Land, you could see that they chose to use orange and green together. Without even knowing it, they are letting the audience know that they aren't on the same wavelength. You should be able to watch a scene on mute and still be able to have context as to what's happening. Lighting plays an important factor in this. If half of the character's face is lit, we're showing an internal psychological struggle. If they're fully in light, it is bright and happy. If they're completely in shadow, something mysterious is happening. That and mixed with the different colors can paint a full picture. Be cognizant of what type of story you're telling, and choose your colors and placement of lights carefully. Let's take a look at some of these movie scenes and break down why they decided to make these lighting choices.
So for this scene in Fight Club, Edward Norton's character is having an internal struggle. Without giving too much of the plot away, you could already see with the half-lit, half-shadow face that there is something going on within him. You could tell that these two characters are in a confrontation based on the back and forth over the shoulders. As the conversation reaches an escalation point, look as a new character is introduced into the scene. With his hand almost having a mind of its own, look at the way they choose to light it. Completely dark without light, as if he has no control. The cinematographer is literally foreshadowing what's about to occur. Even before you see him visually punch himself, the cinematographer lets you know that something menacing is happening within this character.
Next is the decision whether to use audio or not. If you're making a music video, you have your audio already. However, if you're telling a narrative outside of a music video, dialogue is the best way to do it. Right now, I have what's known as a lavalier mic on my shirt. This is an amazing way to record dialogue. When using a lavalier mic, however, there is another person who is operating the receiver. If you don't have the means to have an audio technician while you're filming, perhaps putting a Rode microphone or some sort of boom on top of the camera is a good way of getting clean audio. On a large movie set, you have a designated audio technician. You may even have a whole team. Someone to do the mixing, another person to hold the boom, someone to do lavalier mics. All depends on the budget and what type of story you're trying to tell. When we get to the post-production courses as well, we could talk about adding sound effects in order to expand your story also. Audio is incredibly important when telling a story. This is what fully paints the picture and allows you to be immersed in the narrative. Think of how you experience life. We are a combination of audio and visual. Getting the specific audio and visual is a very important harmony when telling a visual story. If you're dealing with just photography, audio isn't something that you're going to worry about. But of course, if you're making a video, be aware of what type of audio you want. Even if you're just recording your day-to-day life with intention of making a lifestyle edit or recap video, you can record audio of where you are. Get the textures of the wind blowing, birds chirping, the ocean wave crashing, cars honking. Whatever you're experiencing, there's amazing audio recording tools. With this lavalier mic setup that we have, we're recording it to the Zoom H4n digital recorder. You not only feed the XLR cable directly into it, but it also has built-in microphones. This could be an amazing device for you to carry with you. You could record people around you speaking if you'd like some dialogue. You could also record all of the textures that I previously mentioned. You never know when you're going to want to add it to a video. Another important rule to keep in mind when filming is the 180-degree rule. The 180-degree rule pertains to the on-screen relationship between either a character or a subject. For example, if you've been filming a scene from the right-hand side, showing a character positioned in a certain space, and then all of a sudden you jump the line and start filming from the left-hand side, this is going to be incredibly jarring and it's going to break you from the narrative. When creating a film or shooting a video, you are doing your best to imitate real life. The 180-degree rule is an important way to not take the audience out of the narrative. Another amazing way to get an unspoken message across by framing is high angle versus low angle. When a character is in a position of dominance, when filming him from a low angle, you are giving him the power on frame. For example, Michael Bay loves doing this within the Transformers movies. He'll do these sweeping low angles showing the characters appearing much larger than life on the frame. Also, when two characters are having a conversation, if one is more dominant and has the power, you'll film him from a low angle. And if the second character on frame is suppressed or doesn't have the power, then you can film from a high angle, making them seem much smaller. This is a great way, even subconsciously, to let the audience know who has the power. If a shift is happening, you can go from eye level, which is neutral, all the way up to a high angle, showing how small they are within the frame. Another great technique used when framing is known as a Dutch or canted angle. This is when you have a level frame and decide to skew it either left or right, making it off-kiltered. What this is now telling the audience is there's now an unbalance within the character's mind. Here are some examples of how a Dutch or canted angle can be used. As you can see, by having this out of balance framing, you could tell that something interesting is happening within the character. We are telling the audience that this is an experience that is not normal.